What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we're talking about Bitcoin today. I want to talk about Bitcoin because Bitcoin kind of more or less tells us the general direction of the overall market. You know, if Bitcoin's going down, most cryptos are going down further. If it's going up, you know, most cryptos are going up further. You know, so it doesn't have to be like that. You know, Bitcoin can be going down, cryptos can be going up. You know, Bitcoin can be going up, cryptos can be going down, but most of the time they kind of move in unison, and Bitcoin does decide the overall heading. And if you're in the Discord, I'll leave a link in the description if you want to join the Discord. But in the Discord, I made a video, or I made a comment saying that I wanted to make this video building a case for why this move to the downside is not over, and why I think that we could go lower actually. And yeah, so we're just gonna get started on that. Looking at this thing on the daily, right? I've been using this kind of fib range here from bottom to top. And I haven't been using this top here because this was the fake out top, so I'm using the top that set us up in this range overall. And I was expecting that we would go lower. You know, for most of this range up here, I was expecting that we might find support on the 382, which we did, but as we developed this over here and we kind of rejected the 236 more, I've been saying for like the past couple weeks now that I really do expect that we're going to go to the 618.69 area. And I've labeled this as an area that was possible for us to find support on, as well as this 382 since like way back here. But I just thought this 382 or like even this 0.5 area where we found support or resistance back here might be a more significant area. Again, we found some resistance over here previously, and this was right around the 618, so that kind of made sense to me as well to go down there, as well as this area here where we found support, which is like right around the 0.69. So this little golden pocket where I have the that little circle drawn, that to me would have made sense. What didn't make sense to me, or what I didn't expect, in other words, was that we would go straight through the 618, straight through that little golden pocket there, and all the way down to the 886. This is a very strong and powerful move, okay? And generally, whenever you look at fibs, whenever you move through the 618 on your first pass and you close below it on your first pass, you are likely, it's not guaranteed, but you are likely to see these extensions between the 1272 and the 1618. And normally this is the area that I would look for. But being that we blasted straight through the 618, we didn't like flirt with it, blasted straight through it and went all the way to the 886, the deepest retracement that you can have on this thing, like on a fib scale. I would throw in that we could see deeper extensions at the 1786 or the 1886, potentially even deeper extensions than that. Yes, it is possible. I would say in order of most likely to least likely, obviously this would be the most likely, then a little bit still likely, and then not as likely but possible, right? And I really am kind of more focusing on this range here, the 1786 to the 1886, which is around 20.5k to 20k itself, because we did have such a deep retracement that this is, you know, completely possible. And we are dealing with an overall bigger range. Looking at this thing, you know, from this bottom to this high, it is kind of a bigger range, you know, in the relative terms of the chart. It would be, I feel like it would be a lot to see a further extension down into the twos, but we could, you know, and by the twos I mean 2272 here, which is that 18.2k. Anyways, on a weekly basis here, from low, you know, I've been using this top, right, on the short-term time frames. And actually, before I get into that, I want to go over something else, you know, kind of agreeing or being compelling for what I'm trying to say to the downside. I don't know. On this low to low here, this trend line, we broke through it, and I've been saying now for like the past week or 2 weeks or so that if we break through this trend line, I'm expecting that it'll present us a good opportunity to buy. And again, I thought that we would probably find our low around here to here, something like that, right in that little range. We blasted straight through it, right? And I was thinking that, you know, a lot of people have been saying, having their eyes on this line, that if we break this, it's all over. The bull market's in jeopardy. We're gonna, you know, we're screwed. We're going back to 20k or below 20k. Going all the way down to 10k. I don't think we're going to 10k, guys, but I am starting to believe that breaking this trend line is more significant than I was originally expecting it to be. And the reason for that is we got a more significant move than I was expecting as well. with some pretty significant volume, man. We had this nice little uptrend for quite a while, and truthfully, I think this line, a lot of people were optimistic putting it there, nitpicking. I think this line went back further than that. We kind of tipped it right here, and then we broke through this almost a week ago. We didn't break through it on this day. I think we broke through it almost a week ago now. And volume has only built as we went down. We had a slow grind out of it and then broke, right? And I do think pairing that with the way the fib looks on this more immediate term, that this move is not over. I don't think it's over. I don't think that it's done moving, and we are very close to this low here. That would mean, or that would at least somewhat imply, that we will go lower than that low. And how low can we go if we go lower than that low? This will be the first lower low that we've had on an overall more large scale since all the way back here in November, since the bear market bottom. So this is big shit. I want to talk about this real quick from the bottom to the top here. I've been using this fib range because I'm not including the fake out. But when we're looking at this thing on a monthly, I am going to use that fake out top because overall, I'm going to delete this now. Overall, you can see the low to high. This is, I'm going to measure this range on a more macro scale. This is our move up overall, and that was the end of our move up, right? So bottom to top here, if we're looking at this, the next area that I would look to find support on would be the 382 primarily. And this is where there's some hope. This is where there's some hope that we don't go down to 20K, but it is possible, guys. It still is possible. And if we went this low, I don't think we would see extensions on this original fib that I was talking about. I'll show you what I mean. It was from this low here to this high here. The 1272 on that one is at 23,000, right? Where the 382 on this overall structure is at about 24.171, which is just below this low here. And I think that could make sense for a bottom for a couple reasons. Whenever you get an overall move up and you want to see continuation, it's very common to come down to the 382, bounce off of it, and then continue going forward. You would measure some kind of extension from top to the bottom. Maybe we go directly off the 382, maybe we break straight through it and then just close above it. Maybe we don't even actually touch it, we just get close to it, whatever. But for all intents and purposes, I'm going to draw this range to the 382. And then you measure from here, see your extensions at 34K to 37.8K, and that would project the next move up, something like that. The reason I think that we could, I'm a little hopeful that we do, but I'm not holding my breath over it, that we could see a bounce off of this 382 is because, first off, it is a pretty significant level, and second off, that would be like a fake out to the downside, where this overall move is kind of like a fake out to the upside, right? We didn't see from this top to this bottom, we didn't see a 1272 extension here, even though we broke through the 618 on the first pass. Generally, we would see a move that goes all the way up here, and how deep we went into this would scream that we would see deeper extensions even. We didn't get that. We actually had a total reversal back through the 618 even. So, things are a little bit confusing right now, but what I'm trying to get back to is that there is a strong likelihood that we could find a bounce on this 382. Not only is it a fib level, but if we put a line right here at this previous area where we closed, where we found resistance on a closing basis on the weekly, we got that here once and twice. I wonder if anything else, and we tipped it back here. Nothing else in history to show significance on it, but in relative terms, it has been a significant level, so it could be an area, around 24.2K, 24.1K, or sorry, 24.3 to 24.1, that we find support there. It is possible. But just being frank here, just being fair, I think it is possible as well that we come down to the 618, the 0.69. We might even go lower than that and find support somewhere in these deeper retracement areas between the 618 to the 886, and that would give us an overall price range of like 20K to almost 17K, a little bit below 17K there, coming in line. And we could even go below this 886. We don't have to bounce right off it. We could go down to this like closing low here at about 16.2, 16.3K. That's possible. We might not even go to the lows. We could bounce off the highs, which are just above the 886 at about 17K itself. And I know that that's kind of mega bearish compared to like a lot of the things that I've been saying for a while, but But things are different, man. We got a move that wasn't really expected. I definitely have expected a downside move, but this is a little bit more dramatic in relative terms than I was expecting. Now to be fair, as I said in my video, or no, I didn't say it in my video yesterday. I wanted to make a video on Bitcoin, but I couldn't because my computer is being lame. But that's okay. We've only had a 7.2% day on a closing basis to the downside. I know this feels extreme, but for Bitcoin, man, this is not an extreme week, right? 11% to the downside is not an extreme week. This over here, 22%, that's a little bit extreme, right? Over here, 22% again, and then from top to bottom, that was overall 34%. That's a bit extreme, right? But a 7% day, an overall week so far that's only down about 11%. You know, we've been through this before. It's nothing too scary, right? I know it's a little bit scary because of other reasons, but it's not. It seems bigger than it is only because we've had relatively small moves throughout this whole range, right? This is the biggest move we've seen since back here, I think. Yeah, since the 17th of March in 2023, this year. So everything else has been smaller than this move since. But you know, I digress. What I'm trying to talk about really is this range here. I do think that it is essential that we hold this 382 level as support. We can go just a little bit below it. We can even bounce a little bit off of it, you know, like above it. We don't even have to actually bounce on it, but I would more or less expect that right around here, maybe directly on here, about 24.1K, that we would find support. If we don't, and I say I would expect, I don't know if I would expect. I would just like to see that, because if we don't, that would imply that we go down to the 618 or the 0.69. I don't generally look for support on the 0.5, and we can see here. Let's look at it on a daily actually and see if we can find support on the 0.5. There's a little bit of support right here, a little bit, not really, but right there. Doesn't look to be a whole lot of significance coming off of this level, right? A little bit of resistance in this area, a little bit of resistance in this area. I would argue that this 382 has a lot more significance to it than the 0.5 does, you know. Right here, it's kind of like the support area for your topping range. It's a resistance area here. It's a support area here. It's a resistance area here. You go back in time, it's a resistance area for this whole thing. And on a weekly, I just feel like it's a very clear line, you know, right here, like literally for that top and for that top right there. Like it's barely above it, but it's like it's literally right there. So that would be a nice area to find support off of. If we can't, I really would expect that we can come all the way down to this 618. Maybe we bounce right off the 618. Maybe we go through it and even break through that low there, and promote some kind of fake out on this low, and then we turn around. I want to go back and kind of compare Bitcoin to its previous cycles real quick. BTC USD. We're going to use the index, the all-time history index for this, okay, on a monthly scale. So anytime, and maybe not anytime, right? But you know, this cycle excluded. But you know, you find your bottom, you move up, and then this time you just went on a phenomenal rally from there. You didn't check back. Here, you found your bottom, you moved sideways for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. You even moved up. You had a higher high. And then on your 7th month, you came down. You actually had a lower low, but you double bottomed. Okay. Here you found your bottom. You moved up for quite a while, more than 7 months even, compared to the last one. You moved up for, you know, about 6 months there, and then you found your higher low, not a lower low this time like this one, but it was still, and it wasn't a double bottom, but it was your next like low, right? You had your second low here, you had your second low here, and this one did take a little bit more time to form, but you came up, you had your move up, and then you had a little bit of a move down. And this move down, you know, relatively speaking, was a little bit more extreme. From top to bottom, that was a 72% retracement. But to be fair, from bottom to top, we had a move up that was 343%, okay? Here, you had a move up that was overall 89%, and then you had a drop that was, you know, in comparison, that was only 48%. Compared to the 343% move and the 72% drop, right? It's a big difference on both accounts. Here, from bottom to top, we've had a little bit more of a move than this one back here was, right? Because this was an 85% move, I think, right? From low to high here. That was an 89%, I'm sorry. So about 15% more to the upside, 16% more to the upside. Could we see a bigger drop overall than this one here? I think it's possible, but we might not, because if we saw a bigger drop than 48%, that would give us new lows in this market, and I just don't personally think that we're going to see that. Let's see, 48%. What would that do? Yeah, if we were okay, so maybe not. If we were to drop 48%, actually, I mean, maybe we do see something like that. But I don't think that we see something that's too much bigger than that, because that would only imply that we do a lower low, and I just don't think that we're going to get that. Could we have a double bottom? It is possible. It's definitely possible. And I only want to throw that out there. I want to compare it to the previous markets because we have had somewhat significant moves up. This was, again, right here from this high compared to this high, this was a higher high. Here, you know, this high compared to this high, or this high, or this high, this was a higher high. And, you know, here, we've been building higher highs compared to this high, and then also, if you look at it on a weekly basis, we've been building higher highs and higher lows this whole time. But can we come back around, you know, back around the areas where we found a low, back around the areas we found a low? Can we do that? Well, we've done it before. I think we can do it again. And, you know, that's basically really all I have to say. I think from a closing basis here on a monthly, this line here at about 23.3K is also something to take into consideration. From low to high, it doesn't line up with anything. I guess it, let's see. I don't think it does. Yeah, it's like right in between the 382 and the 0.5. We could come all the way down to this line, come back up and close above the 382 and still find support on it. That is possible. You know, that is kind of right in the middle of this previous little range right here. It is possible. But I honestly would expect that if we break the 382, that we probably will see prices down at the 618 or the 0.69, giving us an overall drop from the top to where we could go about 36% to 40%. And throughout Bitcoin's bear markets, throughout its history, anytime that it's had a pullback while going up, we can see here, like, let's see. And I think, I don't know, this one might be a bit extreme. Yeah, that one was a bit extreme. But like from here, from this top to this low here, that was about 36.7%, right? Going up here from this top to this low, that was about 31.3%. From this top to this low, that was 40%, okay? From, I guess, you know, this month closed red, who knows, I don't know. That was 35%. I don't know if we actually went up here and then dropped down. I don't know if that's how it happened. You know, arguable. From here to there, we dropped 23%, something like that. From this top to this low, we went down about 40%. Just bear with me. I have a heading for this, okay? Whenever we started to turn up in the bull market here, we did have pullbacks. I know it's kind of harder to see, but you know, from top here to bottom, we dropped about 21%. From top to bottom here, we dropped about 30%. Is it possible that we could be having anywhere from like a 30 to 40% move down, as we've seen previously before, especially before we really start to turn up? I think it is possible. And again, a 40% move would take us below this low here, and kind of in line with these lows over here. So that would be, you know, and on this perspective, that would take us around, like, let's see, around 18K, just below 20K. And I really think I'm going over all these different prices because it's really hard to say where we're going to go, you guys. I think any and all of them are possible. It is possible as well, you know, on a side of hope, that this could have been the low, that we could have bottomed here. It was a previous area that we found a low before. It is a previous area that we found support before. Maybe we do just continue to move sideways in this range at the top. Maybe we continue to move sideways and then we'll break up. Who knows? But again, looking at this overall fib structure from this low to this high here, if I can get it on there, you know, breaking through the 618 like that is not, it really is not a good look. And it's not totally condemning, right? Bitcoin did just have a move, a very similar move, you know, not too long ago, from this top to this bottom, where we broke through the 618 like butter as well, and we didn't see these extensions. We even went all the way up to the 886, found resistance there, and we didn't see the extensions. But I don't know. Doing that isn't common. It's not a likely thing to happen. In fact, again, the more likely thing, especially whenever you're met with something like this, is that you would see at least the 1272, if not the 1618. That would be the most likely scenario to happen. And the only reason I'm throwing in this deeper extension is because we did have such a strong move through it. And then again, man, this let's see, right here, putting a line at the 2272 here, if it'll let me. 2272, which Bitcoin likes, is 2272 this market. You know, that's right at the low points of this previous area, right at a top point right there. We could see a 2272 extension all the way down to 18K. We really could. And take us just below this low here, make a lot of people freak out that the bear market is still in full effect or something like that, and then we turn up, you know, have people capitulate that way. You know, that is totally possible. And I haven't been, you guys, I haven't been this bearish since back here. I really did, you know, with this move, I'm sure as a lot of us have, I thought that this that going lower was kind of out of the question for a little while. But it's not. I don't think it is right now, man. We've had, let's see, I want to see actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. Okay. So I haven't actually seen this or given much thought to this, but if we look at it here, this could have been an impulse wave. It doesn't really make sense to me that this would be an impulsive wave. I mean, it could be, but you know, an impulsive wave would be from low to high here. That's your wave 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. And the reason why it wouldn't make sense is because your wave 5 is normally like that can't be right, man, because your wave 5 would be bigger than your wave 1. It doesn't have to be, but it shouldn't be your smallest leg, and it looks like it's not. I guess it's not your smallest leg, but it's smaller than wave 4, which to me wouldn't make sense. So I don't know. This is kind of a weird wave count. Overall, though, it is 5 legs up, which is kind of interesting to see. You know, a lot of people, if you've caught on, guys, markets kind of move in 3s and 5s. And that's you know, I think that's no exception here. Again, from low to top, you got one move, and then from top to low, you got 2 moves. Low to top, you got 3 moves, and then top to low, you got 4 moves, and then here you got a 5th move. And I wouldn't feel comfortable calling this an impulsive wave, because this wave 5 is just unconventional. Though unconventional things do happen, it is possible. If this was an impulsive wave, then what we'd be looking for right now would be a corrective wave. From top to bottom, you would see an A, B, C corrective wave, and it would be 3 legs down. Generally, with ABC patterns, the A leg is just as long as the C leg. It would be a pretty symmetrical pattern to the downside. And something like this, you know, I drew it like right off the bat, just like kind of roughly eyeballing it. But you know, maybe it goes here, and then we come up, you know, to the previous areas where we found like support, or like the mid range of this over here, and then we, you know, come down like that. That could take us down to about 20K, something like that. That's possible. I think this leg would even be a little bit longer, right? Something like that. Yeah, take us down to like 21K. Maybe we do go a little bit lower. It's not uncommon for the 3rd leg to be the longest leg, but they generally are more symmetrical, right? It might not be anything like that, but I'm kind of spitballing ideas here, right? So it's really hard to say. If this is, you know, if this is an overall move up, this is our first impulsive wave coming out of the low here, then a move down would imply a corrective wave, and corrective waves normally are ABC patterns, right? That's a corrective formation. But it doesn't have to be. I don't know. Again, I'm just spitballing ideas, but this is kind of interesting. I haven't looked at this, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legs to the upside. It's not conventional looking, that's for sure, but I guess, you know, you don't have to be conventional Bitcoin. You can do whatever you want. But building this volume like this, guys, building this volume while breaking out of this range like this, it is a little bit demoralizing, I have to say. We're firmly entrenched in this downtrend in the daily RSI. The weekly RSI has broken just straight through the 50, man. I would, just from a look on this alone, I would expect that we do see oversold areas. Let's see, from this low to this low here, we've broken out of our uptrend, man. Like, look at this. We've had this uptrend. We've held this uptrend on the weekly since June of this year, or last year, since June of last year. I'm sorry. And we broke through it just now. We've broken through our uptrend on the price as well, I think that this is the mark of a new move down. And if we had 5 legs up, it would make sense that we have 3 legs down. Just be aware of that. And just because we have 3 legs, just because, you know, an ABC is like this generally, right, doesn't mean that we actually have to have a significant move up. We could move sideways. It could be like weaker than that. You know, it could be a lot more intense than that. Who knows? I mean, it wouldn't really make that much sense to go that deep, but it could be. You know. Generally, though, your B wave, your corrective wave inside the corrective wave, would be the smallest leg between the 3, and the C wave, your last leg, would be your longer leg. But again, they're somewhat symmetrical still, so just be aware of that. That's an overall. If you guys look up Elliott wave theory, I really recommend looking into it, because this could be an ABC wave correction. We did have 5 legs down here. We had an impulsive move throughout the bear market, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you guys were following the channel for a while, you know that I used to talk about this and how I was overall expecting that this would be a corrective wave, that we would have like an A, B, C here, and then we'd go down and form another 5 legs down, but we didn't get that. So you know, I don't really know what to do with this wave count. Maybe it's a C here. I don't think so. But I don't think that we're going to get another 5 legs down. I don't think that this was an overall consolidation phase. I think that this is a new move in itself. But man, I'm getting off topic here. I hope I haven't lost anybody. What I'm really trying to get back to on like the main stuff that I'm more familiar with and I'm better at, would be thinking that we find support somewhere in this area where we found resistance before, where we kind of found support before. This is the first area of hope that I would look for. If not, guys, things are going to get real bad. Like real bad. I mean, not real bad. You know, we've seen worse, but something that's, let's say, more regular for Bitcoin, of like a regular retracement, which would be about a 40% pullback, 30 to 40% pullback, right? And we could even go lower than that. It is possible. So just be aware of that. We're going to keep you updated. We're going to see how this goes. But on a weekly basis on this RSI, man, it is not looking good. I would say now we're in a downtrend on the weekly RSI. Maybe we close this week a little bit higher and we have some form of, again, like support from this line here. Maybe we come up a little bit higher, find support, and then we bounce up from there. We'd make a move back up to like, I don't know, like 28, 29K, something like that, and then go lower. But we could just continue to bleed. We don't have to hold this formation at all. Again, we've broken out of this overall uptrend that we were in from June of last year. We didn't even find support on it, man. We just broke straight through it. So it's hard to say. It's really hard to say what's going to happen right now. But I do think, of all the things, that we're not done. I don't think that this was the low, and that's why, you know, I've gone pretty heavy into the markets as of right now. But I didn't even put half of the money that I have sitting on the side, because I'm trying to be patient here. If we were to move up a little bit, I actually might consider selling out some of my stuff, taking a small profit, and just being more patient, waiting for these lows to come in. But if we don't get that and we just continue to move lower, I'm fine with the prices that I got, honestly. I'm totally fine with where I'm at, because, you know, retrospectively, you could buy here and we could drop another 20%, you guys, and you wait like you wait 2 years, it's going to be a good time to buy even still. So I'm not too worried about that. I do have over half my position in cash still, and I'm waiting to get in at lower prices, so I'm totally happy with that as well. But I just wanted to make this long video explaining why I think we could go lower. And there's more reasons than just the price action itself. You know, from a fib basis, it makes sense. From an RSI basis, it makes sense. And man, let's see. Oh man, guys. We might break below the 50 on the long-term RSI, which would that wouldn't be good either. That really wouldn't be good either. You know, the last time that we broke through the 50 was back here in June of 2022, and we all remember what happened then, right? That was the mark. That was the mark of this like big move down. I don't know what I'm trying to say. That was you know, from like a relative high to a low. In 3 weeks' time, we moved down 45%. We did come from higher areas, and this was toward the end of the bear market itself. You know, I don't think that we're going to get a move quite like this from here. But overall, you know, from top to bottom, we could see a move like that. That is something like 40%, 45% even, right? Finding support at this previous area of support would not be out of the question. Breaking this low now, right down here, is not out of the question, though I don't know if that's as likely. I would say that breaking this low is likely. I think very likely we do break this low. This low, I'm not quite convinced yet. We'll see when we get there. But there is a lot of support down at this area. Just closing thoughts. There is a lot of support down at this area. We found resistance here, support here. We held it for a while. You kind of, it's like in the middle of this little mesh over here, whatever. And then you go back and it is near the all-time high area from the previous cycle itself. So, you know, finding support on this line or even a little bit above this line. Maybe we double bottom with this bottom itself or somewhere in between. To me, that would make sense. To me, that would make a lot of sense. And then even here, right, you've got, I don't know, man. Let's see if any of these lines match up on a fib basis. I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah, man. So you got your 786 there, you got your 69 there, and then the 618 I guess would be a little bit lower, like right there. But I don't know. I don't think that we just tip right off the 618 personally. I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point, so I'm going to end it, you guys. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to see more. I know it's not necessarily what we want to hear, but we got to be real with ourselves. This could change at any point in time. Things could start to look good again, but we would need a pretty serious reversal compared to what we've seen recently. And this volume, this break, it seems pretty convincing to me, you guys. It definitely does seem convincing to me. I'm glad I took a day to make a video on Bitcoin because, you know, I didn't really know what to think of it, but after marinating on it for quite some time, I do think that this range here, this range for the fibs from bottom to top is going to be the range to watch. And the first step, the next step is going to be at 382 at about 24.164K right there. 24.1 to 24.2K, somewhere in there is the next area to watch. So for the time being, regardless of all the theories that I've made throughout this, I do think that we go lower than the current low so far. That is my most honest and genuine opinion that I can give you. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Take care. Have a good night. I'm going to leave a link for the Discord in the description below if you want to join that, because again, you know, I made this video a little bit later than I intended to. I actually fell asleep. I fell asleep putting down my 16-month-old daughter. If you don't catch up on sleep, sleep will catch up to you, you know. But still, here I am in the middle of the night making this video because I told you guys on Discord that I am expecting that the move down is not over. And, you know, maybe for the next time I do fall asleep again and I don't make the video in the time, you know, that I wanted to. Bitcoin was a little bit higher than it is now by the time I made that text on Discord, that message on Discord. So, you know, sometimes I don't have time in the day to do TA or to make videos like this, but I can still communicate on the Discord. So if you guys want to join the Discord and just be a part of the community that we're building on there, it's called the Wheelhouse. I will leave a description for it, or a link for it in the description. I'm tired. I'm gonna get some sleep. Take care, everybody. Have a good night. Bye bye.